Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will delve into the escalating drama surrounding Drew Cain and the shocking disappearance of his daughter Scout Quartermain, which uncovers layers of family tension and betrayal in Port Charles. In the heart of Port Charles, where secrets simmer and alliances shift like shadows, Drew Cain is on the brink of confronting the kind of agony he's inflicted on others for far too long. Imagine the terror gripping a father's heart when his young daughter, Scout Quartermain, vanishes from the lively grounds of Lilith's Kids Summer Camp, a place meant for innocent fun and carefree days under the sun. Drew, portrayed as a man with a tangled web of enmities, must now grapple with the possibilities as one of his numerous adversaries struck back by abducting her. Could she have simply wandered off into the woods, lost in a moment of childish curiosity? Or, in a heartbreaking twist, did Scout choose to flee from the whirlwind of chaos her father has unleashed in their lives? This nightmare unfolds in the August 12th episode, plunging Drew into a panic that's as raw as it is revealing. Despite his flaws, Drew has often shown glimmers of being a devoted parent to Scout, contrasting sharply with his more dubious actions elsewhere. For instance, he's manipulated situations to hurt those around him, like convincing young wily Corinthos that his own father, Michael, had abandoned him, a cruel ploy that left emotional scars on an innocent child. Now, as Drew faces this crisis, whispers in Port Charles suggest this could be karmic retribution for his string of misdeeds, including making a boy feel utterly unloved and isolated. Adding to the intrigue, sources close to the Quartermain family hint that Drew's recent business dealings have ruffled feathers among powerful figures, potentially motivating a revenge plot disguised as a simple missing child case. The sequence of events leading to Scout's disappearance paints a vivid picture of parental dread, amplified by personal vendettas. It all begins when camp counselors alert Drew that Scout has gone missing during a group activity near the lake, sparking an immediate search involving local authorities and volunteers scouring the surrounding forests. Drew's reaction is a frenzy of calls and accusations, his mind racing through a roster of enemies from his past, from shady business rivals to jilted allies in the corporate world. But relief washes over him momentarily when it's discovered that Scout is safe, not with a stranger, but in the company of her half-brother, Danny Morgan. This revelation, however, doesn't bring peace. Instead, it ignites a firestorm. Drew, ever the strategist, escorts Scout to the car to shield her from the impending confrontation, then turns his fury on Detective Harrison Chase with a demand that stuns everyone. Arrest Danny Morgan for kidnapping my daughter. To flesh this out, insiders reveal that Scout had expressed a longing for family connection during camp, perhaps confiding in a counselor about missing her brother, which Danny overheard through a mutual friend. This sets the stage for Danny's well-intentioned but unauthorized pickup, turning a gesture of sibling love into a legal quagmire. At the core of this so-called crime is a teenager's innocent yearning for familial bonds, a profound loss. Danny Morgan, still reeling from the brutal murder of his mother just months prior, simply wanted to create a moment of normalcy for his little sister. He arrived at the camp with snacks and stories, whisking Scout away for what he envisioned as a harmless afternoon of ice cream and park gammas activities that echoed happier times with their late mother. "Can't you see she just wants to be with us, her real family?" Danny pleads, his voice cracking with the weight of grief and frustration. Yet Drew dismisses this entirely, viewing it not as an act of compassion, but as a direct challenge to his authority. This isn't about Scout's safety, it's a power play, a way for Drew to assert dominance and redraw boundaries in a fractured family dynamic. Inventing new layers to this, perhaps Danny had left a note at the camp explaining his intentions, but it was overlooked in the chaos, adding to the misunderstanding. Drew's refusal to listen forces those around him, friends, family, and even neutral observers, to pick sides in an unwanted feud, much like how he's previously divided the Corinthos clan through his schemes. Even as Alexis Davis steps in with her sharp legal mind, fiercely advocating for Danny and potentially compelling Drew to withdraw the absurd charges, the conflict is far from over. Spoilers for the August 13th episode tease a stunning declaration from Drew, which, given his track record of manipulation such as his recent maneuvers against Michael Corinthos, seems unlikely to be a heartfelt mea culpa. Instead, it could be a calculated pivot, perhaps announcing his intent to pursue full custody of Scout, framing Danny as an unstable influence due to his rebellious behavior. To expand on this, imagine Drew consulting with high-powered attorneys in secret meetings at the Metro Court, building a case that highlights Danny's recent skips from school and late-night outings as evidence of poor judgment. This move would escalate the drama into a full-blown courtroom saga, pitting Drew's parental rights against the collective will of Scout's extended family. As battle lines solidify, Drew's isolation becomes glaringly apparent. He holds the legal upper hand as Scout's biological father, but his actions have burned bridges with key supporters. Alexis, with her no-nonsense demeanor, Jason Morgan's stoic loyalty to his son Danny, and even the matriarch Monica Quartermain, who has witnessed too many family rifts, are poised to rally against him. They're not just fighting for custody, they're advocating for Scout's emotional stability, ensuring she can nurture her bond with Danny without fear of reprisal. Inventing a poignant detail, perhaps Monica uncovers old family letters from Sam McCall, Scout and Danny's late mother, expressing her deepest hope that her children would lean on each other in times of hardship. A wish Drew's aggression directly contradicts. Sam's lingering presence haunts this storyline, with fans speculating that her spirit would condemn Drew's tactics, seeing them as a betrayal of the love they once shared. In a creative twist, some Port Charles residents might even organize a community vigil in Sam's memory, subtly protesting Drew's divisive behavior and amplifying the call for family unity. Fan reactions have erupted like a storm across social platforms, with viewers unleashing a torrent of criticism toward Drew's hypocrisy. How can a man who's been an absentee figure in his daughter's life suddenly morph into the epitome of protective parenthood? Many are rallying behind the evil twin narrative, theorizing that without the implanted memories of his brother Jason, Drew's true nature, bitter, resentful, and power-hungry, is finally emerging unchecked. Adding depth, online forums buzz with fan theories suggesting Drew's military past has left him with unresolved trauma, manifesting in his controlling tendencies. Though this doesn't excuse his cruelty, comments flood in, labeling him as the ultimate villain in this arc, with some predicting his downfall through a united front from the Morgans and Quartermains. The true casualties in this turmoil are the children caught in the crossfire, Danny and Scout. Danny has navigated unimaginable upheavals: his father's miraculous return from presumed death, followed by his mother's tragic slaying. His pain has bubbled up as typical adolescent defiance, like sneaking out to music gigs or clashing with authority figures. But now it's being criminalized by his own uncle. Scout, at such a tender age and freshly orphaned, is forced to witness her father's warpath against her beloved brother, potentially sowing seeds of distrust and anxiety that could affect her relationships for years. To illustrate, child psychologists in Port Charles, a fictional nod to real experts, might warn of long-term effects like attachment issues or suppressed grief, emphasizing how such family strife can echo through generations. Next, we will explore the intriguing uncertainties swirling around Elizabeth Baldwin's future in Port Charles, as fans clamor for more depth and direction in her captivating journey. In the ever-evolving tapestry of Port Charles, where personal dramas intersect with high-stakes mysteries, Elizabeth Baldwin stands at a crossroads that has viewers buzzing with anticipation and frustration alike. As one of the show's most enduring characters, portrayed with nuanced grace by Rebecca Herbst, Elizabeth has long been a pillar of resilience amid heartbreak and intrigue. Yet, recent episodes have left her somewhat adrift, prompting a wave of speculation about what lies ahead. Among the hottest theories circulating in fan circles is the possibility of a budding romance with Detective Harrison Chase, especially now that her ex, Lucky Spencer, appears to have faded from the scene. Imagine the sparks flying as Elizabeth and Chase embark on a thrilling adventure together, perhaps chasing down a lead on a long-buried secret from Elizabeth's past, involving hidden family artifacts or a clandestine operation tied to her nursing expertise. This pairing could inject fresh energy into her arc, blending romantic tension with action-packed escapades, like a covert trip to a remote island, where they uncover clues about a forgotten Baldwin family scandal. To add a layer of intrigue, whispers from set insiders suggest Chase's own unresolved feelings about his brother's death could mirror Elizabeth's losses, forging a bond built on shared vulnerability and mutual healing. However, not all predictions point toward new horizons with Chase. A contrasting wave of speculation envisions a dramatic reunion with Lucky Spencer, potentially steering Elizabeth toward a heartfelt reconciliation and beyond. Fans are abuzz with the idea that Lucky's return could culminate in an engagement announcement during the crisp days of fall, followed by a lavish wedding in February of next year. Envision a ceremony at the historic Quartermain Mansion, adorned with winter blooms and attended by a mix of allies and rivals from Port Charles' elite. This storyline might explore themes of second chances, with Lucky grappling with his nomadic past while Elizabeth confronts lingering doubts from their turbulent history, inventing a fresh element. Perhaps Lucky returns bearing a mysterious artifact from his travels abroad, like an ancient locket that holds clues to Elizabeth's parentage, adding emotional depth and a touch of adventure to their rekindled romance. Yet, this rosy outlook comes with a bittersweet twist. Rumors swirl that the couple could exit the show together post-nuptials, sailing off into the sunset for a new life elsewhere, which would mark a poignant farewell for these beloved characters. Detailed analysis of this potential arc reveals how it could serve as a narrative bookend, honoring Elizabeth's growth from a troubled teen to a steadfast mother and professional, while allowing the show to refresh its ensemble with new faces. For the moment, though, Elizabeth seems relegated to the periphery of Port Charles' bustling storylines, a situation that's left her devoted fanbase feeling increasingly disheartened. Without a dedicated plot to call her own, she's been reduced to supportive cameos offering sage advice to colleagues at General Hospital, or navigating minor family squabbles with her sons lacking the spotlight that once illuminated her complex inner world. This limbo is particularly jarring for a character with such a rich history, from her early days of teenage rebellion to her roles as a survivor of trauma and a dedicated head nurse. Fans are vocal about their desire for Elizabeth to reclaim center stage, perhaps through a solo investigation that showcases her intelligence and determination. To expand on this, consider a newly invented subplot where Elizabeth stumbles upon encrypted hospital files, hinting at a corporate conspiracy involving pharmaceutical tampering, pulling her into a web of danger that tests her ethical boundaries and forces her to ally with unexpected partners. This underutilization feels like a missed opportunity, as her skills and backstory could drive compelling drama, reminding viewers why she's been a fan favorite for decades. The online community has erupted with passionate discussions, highlighting the collective yearning for Elizabeth to shine independently. One poignant fan remark captures the sentiment: Elizabeth hasn't had a genuine storyline of her own since the tragic loss of Franco. It's as if her narrative has been perpetually overshadowed by others. This observation underscores a pattern where Elizabeth often serves as a catalyst or confidant in plots centered on characters like Jason Morgan or her sister Hayden, rarely taking the lead. Delving deeper into this analysis, it becomes clear that such secondary roles have diluted her agency, turning a multifaceted womanist mother, artist into a mere supporting player, which contrasts sharply with the show's history of empowering female leads, inventing an analytical twist. Perhaps this reflects broader trends in soap operas, where veteran characters like Elizabeth risk fading unless refreshed with bold, character-driven arcs that explore untapped aspects, such as her artistic talents leading to a gallery exhibit that uncovers a forgery ring in Port Charles. Echoing this frustration, another viewer proposed a proactive path. I was really hoping Elizabeth would team up with Lucas to unravel the mystery behind who tampered with Daisy's case. As the esteemed head nurse, Elizabeth is perfectly positioned to spearhead an internal probe alongside Dr. Portia Robinson and Chief of Staff Terry Randolph, investigating lapses in hospital security that allowed such a breach. This could evolve into a gripping ensemble storyline, with the trio conducting late-night reviews of surveillance footage and interviewing staff, uncovering a saboteur with ties to a rival medical firm, adding inventive details. Imagine Elizabeth discovering a hidden camera in the nurse's station, planted by an insider, which not only solves the immediate puzzle, but also exposes a larger threat to patient safety, positioning her as a heroic whistleblower. Such a plot would leverage her professional prowess, providing the front-and-center focus fans crave while addressing real-world issues, like healthcare integrity. Yet another intriguing fan theory posits that Elizabeth could have been the key to exposing a sinister secret. I truly believed she'd be the one to realize Drew was drugging Willow, especially since she was right there at the house when he insisted on that suspicious smoothie. This missed chance highlights Elizabeth's observational acuity, as she witnessed the odd exchange firsthand, potentially piecing together clues from Willow's symptoms and Drew's evasive behavior. In a creative expansion, perhaps Elizabeth later reflects on that moment in a private journal, connecting it to overheard conversations at the hospital about altered medications, sparking her own undercover inquiry. Analyzing this element, it reveals how Elizabeth's peripheral status has squandered opportunities for her to drive major, Revelations, like confronting Drew in a tense showdown that could ripple through the Quartermain and Corinthos families, reaffirming her role as a moral compass in Port Charles. Ultimately, the fate of Elizabeth Baldwin remains a tantalizing enigma, with ABC General Hospital keeping viewers on the edge of their seats. Whether she forges ahead with Chase on an exhilarating quest, reunites with Lucky for a fairy tale ending, or finally claims a storyline that puts her in the driver's seat, the possibilities are endless. Fans are encouraged to stay glued to their screens each day, as the show's writers have a knack for surprising twists that could elevate Elizabeth from the shadows to the spotlight she deserves. Next, we will uncover the high-stakes peril facing rookie Jocelyn Jacks as she navigates a treacherous international mission that could spiral into deadly chaos at the luxurious Five Poppies Resort in Dalmatia, Croatia. In the sun-drenched shores of Dalmatia, where azure waves lap against historic stone walls, young Jocelyn Jacks finds herself thrust into the shadowy world of espionage as a fresh-faced WSB agent, paired with the enigmatic operative known simply as Vaughn. What begins as what should be a straightforward assignment quickly teeters on the edge of disaster, raising eyebrows about the wisdom of dispatching someone so green to a mission of such global significance. Joss, whose primary credentials seem limited to basic life-saving skills, like prone perhaps from her time volunteering at local clinics in Port Charles, lacks the seasoned edge needed for high-risk operations. Yet here she is, embedded in a resort that doubles as a hotbed for clandestine dealings, where alliances shift like the Mediterranean tides. Spoilers for the week of August 11th to 15th paint a grim picture. Joss bursts into their opulent suite, only to witness a brutal assault on Vaughn, his attacker locked in a life-or-death stranglehold. In a split-second decision, she draws her weapon, the barrel trained on the chaotic tangle, and the shot rings out, leaving fans to wonder if this impulsive act will claim an unintended victim, to invent a fresh layer. Perhaps Joss's inexperience is compounded by a faulty earpiece malfunction during the entry, cutting her off from real-time WSB support, and forcing her to rely solely on instinct in a foreign land where language barriers and local customs add unseen layers of complexity. Rewinding to the prior week's developments, the tension ignited when the astute Anna Devane pieced together Jocelyn's covert role within the WSB, sparking a heated showdown with the suave yet slippery Jack Brennan. Anna, with her wealth of experience in intelligence circles, didn't mince words, arguing vehemently that Joss is woefully unprepared for the demands of fieldwork, her youth and limited training making her a liability rather than an asset. This confrontation at a dimly lit Port Charles cafe escalated as Anna grilled Brennan on his reckless choice to deploy Joss to Dalmatia, a region rife with underground networks and political intrigue. Brennan, ever the charmer, defended his decision, but the undercurrent of doubt was palpable. Adding inventive depth, imagine Anna uncovering an encrypted dossier on Joss's recruitment, revealing that Brennan fast-tracked her involvement after a chance encounter at a charity gala, swayed by her fiery determination rather than proven skills, a move that now reeks of favoritism and potential nepotism tied to Joss's family connections. The fallout promises to be explosive, especially when Joss's protective mother, Carly Spencer, catches wind of the endangerment. Carly's legendary temper could erupt in a confrontation that makes international spy games look tame by comparison. Indeed, Brennan is acutely aware of the storm brewing with Carly, whose maternal instincts have toppled empires before. He'd likely prefer battling a squadron of ruthless DVX operatives single-handedly dodging bullets in a rain-soaked alley over facing Carly's unbridled wrath in a heated family showdown back home. This fear stems from Carly's history of fierce loyalty, having navigated her own brushes with danger to safeguard her loved ones. Joss's training this year amounted to little more than simulated scenarios in a nondescript warehouse, covering basics like evasion tactics and code breaking, but nothing that truly prepares for the adrenaline-fueled unpredictability of real-world ops. From the sidelines, it's clear this preparation falls short. An unqualified observer might liken it to sending a lifeguard to defuse a bomb well-intentioned, but disastrously mismatched. Expanding creatively, perhaps Joss's sessions included a virtual reality module simulating Croatian locales, but a glitch in the program omitted key cultural nuances, leaving her vulnerable to misreading social cues during the mission, such as mistaking a local gesture for hostility and escalating tensions unnecessarily. Brennan attempted to downplay the risks to Anna, insisting Joss's task was merely a routine intelligence gathering endeavor collecting whispers from resort guests about shadowy dealings, far removed from Wild West-style gunfights or high-speed chases. But did he truly buy into his own assurances, or was this a calculated gamble to test Joss's mettle? Anna, ever the pragmatist, countered with a dose of reality. Even the most benign assignments can veer into catastrophe, as unforeseen variables like double agents or sudden betrayals turn fact-finding into a fight for survival. In a newly invented twist, spoilers hint that the mission's routine nature was a facade. Intercepted communications suggest Vaughn was already on a watch list for suspected ties to a rogue faction, pulling Joss into a web of deception where her partner's loyalties are as murky as the Adriatic depths at midnight. This revelation underscores the perils of underestimating the field, where a simple eavesdropping gig could morph into a deadly ambush, testing Joss's resolve in ways her brief training never anticipated. Fortunately, reinforcements are en route, with the steadfast Jason Morgan jetting to the Five Poppies resort this week, his arrival signaling a much-needed lifeline for the beleaguered rookie. Jason, with his storied history of covert operations and unyielding composure, could provide the guidance Joss desperately needs, perhaps teaching her on-the-fly techniques for disarming assailants or extracting intel under pressure. His presence might avert total disaster, turning a potential tragedy into a learning curve. Yet, in the interim, the burning questions linger for GH enthusiasts. Will Joss commit a fatal blunder, her gunshot striking the wrong target in the heat of the moment? And when Carly inevitably discovers the full extent of the danger Mabe, through a frantic transatlantic call from Joss Herselfau, will she unleash her fury on Brennan, possibly storming WSB headquarters in a blaze of righteous anger? Delving into inventive speculation, Carly might enlist allies like Sonny Corinthos for a private investigation, uncovering Brennan's ulterior motives and demanding Joss's immediate extraction, all while navigating her own tangled emotions about her daughter's secret life. Moreover, the curious omission of a last name for the dashing Vaughn sparks intrigue. Could this be a deliberate narrative choice by the show's writers? Perhaps it hints at a deeper mystery, like Vaughn being an alias for a character from Port Charles' past, such as a long-lost relative or a reformed villain operating under the radar. This anonymity adds an aura of enigma, making his potential demise all the more poignant and ripe for plot twists. If Joss's error proves lethal, the repercussions on her psyche could be profound. A young woman already grappling with the weight of her family's legacy might spiral into guilt-ridden turmoil, questioning every decision and battling nightmares of the resort's blood-stained suite. Professionally, such a mishap could torpedo her fledgling WSB career, leading to a formal inquiry, suspension, or even expulsion, forcing her back to Port Charles to rebuild amid judgmental whispers. Inventing an emotional arc, Joss might seek solace in therapy sessions disguised as coffee meetups with friends, processing the trauma while vowing to honor any fallen partner's memory through more rigorous self-training, transforming her setback into a catalyst for growth. As the drama unfolds at the Five Poppies resort, Jocelyn's international foray serves as a stark reminder of the thin line between heroism and hubris in the spy game, with Jason's timely intervention offering hope. The week promises edge-of-your-seat revelations that could redefine Joss's path. GH fans, what are your theories on her potential misstep and its fallout? Share in the comments as we await the next twist in this Croatian escapade.